Nuclear Ash. Written by James Kelly, 15. I stand in a dark room. It is very large, and I can barely see the black outlines of the walls. Around me are golden cages which hang from the ceiling by long chains. Peering into them, I see the most peculiar objects. Much like the strange ornate cages, gold glints through many of the bars. There are crowns, golden bars, scepters with emeralds and other gems embedded in their hilts, golden necklaces and lockets amongst others. One has bronze weighing scales. Other cages have bones in them. I see one near my head has a skull in it, which makes me jump. Just as I am acquainting myself with my bizarre surroundings, a bright light comes on before me. I hear a beeping and see a logo. It's called a digital on-screen graphic, and every broadcaster has one, but this one I don't recognize. It looks like a star with a shadow cast across it, and it has strange characters that look like hieroglyphics on it. Over it, a live countdown begins. It is on 14. I hear screaming coming from the TV, alongside the beeping. 11. The screen crackles and I see static for several seconds. Demonic laughter comes from the screen. 8. What on earth is happening? 6. My heart is pounding. 4. I stare in disbelief. Where am I? 2. 1. The image swaps to another. It is the seal of the United States. I am a Brit, but I've lived in Florida for 6 years, and I consider America my home now. But what exactly is happening? This must be some kind of emergency broadcast. Then, an image appears. It is the President of the United States. President Mugwell sits behind his desk in the Oval Office. He looks straight at the camera, and strangely smiles. Our eyes seem to lock, but I feel he is looking directly at me, into my soul. He wears a black suit, and his tie is as straight as ever. But the red and white polka dot style seems unusually cheerful for such a seemingly somber scene. I notice he is wearing a silver ring that I've never seen him wear before. It has a skull and 2 bones on it, and it complements his hair. His blue eyes have a striking quality, but more remarkable are his white teeth. They are blindingly flashy and shine brighter than a Mexican summer sun. Then he speaks. My fellow Americans, last night, we came under attack. The screen turns static, and the transmission comes through again faintly. The message is not entirely audible, but I hear him talk more. We know what we must do. This is war. We wish this day would never come, but our enemy has refused all negotiations, and now we realize that we should have acted sooner. We will not make the same mistake of mercy or diplomacy again. We will strike our enemy's cities with the full force of our arsenal. The screen fades out and then comes back again. God bless America. Suddenly, I'm no longer in that dark, strange room. I'm standing in a city far away. The sun is beating down upon me. I am surrounded by buildings. Some are made of stone and clay brick. Others are more modern apartment types, with scaffolding and double-glazed windows. It's a strange city, a mix of modern and old. I see people in all variety around me. They are young and old, healthy and fat, ragged and in suits. As the crowd jostles past, I see cars and people riding on donkeys. A young man in a white thobe and sun-beaten leather sandals leads a goat to a market by a rope tied to its neck. Merchants and vendors haggle at stalls. Customers stop and look at an array of spices, clothes, fruits, and other goods. A woman laughs whilst talking to her husband and shelters her daughter with her arm as the crowd jostles past. People walk past me, beside me, and around me, but they never make eye contact or look at me. Something isn't right. I can sense it. I look up at the sky and see a jet fly past, faster than any I've ever seen before. Suddenly, I'm inside a white clay house. There are no windows, just bolted wooden doors. Elaborate Persian carpets cover areas of the tiled floor. In the center of the room is a table with a blue and white patterned porcelain Mayping vase on it. It must be the home's prized possession. A very loud sound, which is almost like the crack of a whip, comes from the walls and makes me cover my ears. I see a family screaming and cowering together under the table. None of them seem to notice me, apart from the young daughter who goes quiet and turns pale as she stares, wide-eyed at me. It's as if she's seen a ghost. Helplessly, I just stare back. Blinding white light and the sound of thunder fills the room. Then suddenly I am inside another building. This one is more modern. I see a window, and through it, I see a nuclear mushroom cloud on the horizon. The glass is shattered. The sky is blood red. I'm on the outskirts of the city, and while the room seemed to have survived the initial blast, the place is very hot. I can't feel it in the way you'd think, but I just know. I can somehow sense it. I see an old man lying dead on the floor. Two adult men, perhaps his sons, are desperately trying to help him. They are talking to each other, and whilst I can't speak in their language, I know what they're saying. They think he has passed out from shock. It's no use, I tell them sadly. They can't hear me. Then one starts screaming, and I see his skin has turned red and is blistering. They are both screaming and howls of agony also come from outside the window, and peering out, I see buildings on fire and people running about the streets. Oxen and sheep flee. There is crying and hysteria. Cars are overturned. People lie, seemingly dead, on the road as others rush past. I don't think it was an intercontinental ballistic missile. I'd seen a plane fly by. It must have been a nuclear strike from an air-launched cruise missile or a ballistic missile. The plane had looked like a B-2 bomber. Politics hasn't exactly been a diplomatic success lately. The China-Taiwan War of last year led to hundreds of thousands of deaths, and the US's withdrawal from NATO in 2027 and the Russian capture of Kiev in late 2026 have caused ripples of panic across the globe. But I never imagined that events would come to this. I stand in horror, staring at the burning calamity that is everything. Then it's done. I am staring at the ceiling of my bedroom. My bedroom. The sunlight is coming through the curtains. I can't move my body. Then I realize it's sleep paralysis. I'd been here a million times before. I realize I need to sleep more. I allow myself to drift off. I gasp. My temple is throbbing. It was all just a dream. I check my iPhone. There is no signal, but I see the time is 7:03 a.m. I get up and go to the bathroom. I stare at my face in the mirror. That was a dream I don't want to have again. Sleep paralysis runs in my family. I got it from my late mother. She used to say that dreams held the key to visions and could predict the future. I never really believed that, but she had had strange dreams. Before COVID, she dreamt of an outbreak of a virus that came from Russia and caused a panic. Her dream had been intensely vivid, and she had told me about it in 2019. She had seen men in masks and people being tested in drive-in stations where tents had been set up. She claimed in her dream that people were given a test that gave a result on a device that looked like a test cassette That was either a red line or a blue line, and the red one meant that you were infected. It was strange. She said that powers ran in our family, and I could see the future in dreams as well. She also said that dreaming was a gateway to astral projection, and that when you have sleep paralysis, you know you've been astral projecting. I've never really believed it, but like her, I've always struggled with insomnia and sleep paralysis. Still feeling sick, I dress myself and prepare for work. I splash cold water on my face. After brushing my teeth and flossing, I go down into the kitchen to start my day. I open the window to let the morning breeze in. Cool Floridian air fills the room. The sky has a beautiful deep blue morning hue. Palm trees sway along the gravel driveway, and I hear the dawn chorus of American robins. It will be a beautiful day. I think about that strange dark room with the TV and wonder where it was and what the significance of the objects in the cages were. It was some strange place in my mind. I know that Wilhelm Steckel and Sigmund Freud both associated skulls with death and annihilation. I get a glass of tap water as well as a carton of milk from the fridge, which I down with several gulps. I plonk myself down on my favorite grey velvet sofa and relax. I look at my service medals proudly in their display case across from me and close my eyes. After a few minutes, I get my breakfast. As I'm eating, the TV screen crackles open. There is a second of static, and then I hear the national emergency broadcast. The beeping continues as the logo of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security appears on the screen. A female voice begins to read a message. This is an emergency broadcast. This is not a drill. Please remain in your homes. At 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this morning, devices were detonated across cities in America. Chicago, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Washington, D.C. have been attacked with a series of detonations. These come shortly after EMP strikes damaged the Northwest electricity grid. Martial law has been declared. The FBI and NSA have created a joint task force and are working with the National Guard to apprehend any responsible parties. I repeat, if in the vicinity of the affected areas, please remain in your homes. The Army has cordoned off the perimeters of your areas. I repeat, please remain in your homes. The President will now give an emergency broadcast. The screen flashes, and the White House logo appears on the screen for several seconds. Then, an image appears of the President behind the presidential desk. He is wearing his gray hair with its trademark parting. He is also wearing a more formal, plain dark tie, and I don't see a ring on his hand. His left hand sits over his right on his desk, as if intended as a gesture of respect, but there's a universal glimmer in the depths of his eyes. He looks directly at the camera. My fellow Americans, this morning we came under attack. We are working on finding any surviving perpetrators, but the origins of the attack are obvious. We will not stand back while our country is attacked. We will strike back. He gently smiles, and I see his shiny teeth.